If you want to win those backstage passes to the concert, be the seventh caller with the phrase that pays. Hello again, everyone. I'm Eli's dad with Project Eli, where we educate, we lead, and we inspire. And you know, I was doing some thinking, and in every endeavor in life, there are certain phrases that pay. And I'm going to go over a few of them with you right now, and I want you to be thinking about whatever area you specialize in. What phrases are the ones that really pay? Do you jot them down? Do you make them your 10 commandments? All right? That's the point. I'm going to give you some from the area that I'm an expert in, which is sales. So as I give these to you, be thinking about phrases that pay in your particular endeavor. All right, we're going to focus on sales. First off, and these are things that I used to drill into my people as I was training them, because they always go back to the foundation. Sales is taking a person from point A to point B by asking a series of logical questions where the answer is always yes. So what you want to do is you want to ask a question, get an agreement, get an agreement, get an agreement, and you're slowly climbing the hill until you get to the very top of the hill and you ask the big question, and the only logical thing to do is if they've said yes all the way along, is when it's time to, well, shall we get started? The answer should be yes. Once they know that you care, they will care that what you know. In sales, one of the things people are so focused on selling their product, getting their point of view, you have to listen. The Lord's given you 2 ears, 1 mouth. What does that indicate? It indicates you should be listening twice as much as you should be talking. And when you listen, you're caring for what the people are saying, and then you can individualize your presentation to meet the needs, and you show that you care. Be interested in them and not interesting yourself. Well now, okay? A lot of times people try and be such a big shot, but when you let other people tell you about themselves, remember, what's a person's favorite thing to talk about? Themselves. Give them that opportunity. And then once you've listened, common courtesy dictates that they listen to you, but let them be interesting first. If you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. I did a video on that. That's from Zig Ziglar. Key to success, help enough people get what they want, and then, guess what? The remuneration comes back to you. You can get what you want. The sale is not complete until the paperwork is processed. Not just done, but processed. You need to go all the way to the end. You cannot stop halfway or 3/4 of the way or 90% of the way. You have to go all the way to the end to make sure that your sale will stick. The definition of truth is what the client conceives to be true. You can try and sell somebody something, you know something, it's true, but if the client doesn't believe it, the client's not going to believe it. The client only believes truth to the things that the client knows. Keep that in mind. Share the vision and sell the dream. Paint, paint the portrait of success, and then here's how you're going to get there. All right, there's the vision. I'm going to sell you the dream of how to get there. Never sit a one-legger. All right, what does that mean? When you're doing in-home sales, you're going to have a husband and a wife in many cases, or 2 partners together. Never make your presentation to only one partner. They're going to tell you, hey, I make all those decisions. That's my bailiwick. That's what I do. Don't believe it. Don't believe it, because when you get to the end, they're going to come up with the same objection that you cannot overcome. You know what? I really like what you said, but I need to discuss it with my partner. That is always the ending. By the same token, don't make your presentation to somebody who's not a decision maker. Don't present your product to the administrative assistant he or she is not the decision maker. When you're there, make sure that you're talking to the decision maker. Know, N-O, means I need to know, K-N-O more, K-N-O-W, more. Someone's not going to change their mind just because you're repeating something over and over and over again, unless it's your little kid, all right, that's selling you, Dad, I want a lightsaber. Okay, Eli got 10 lightsabers. But when you're talking in sales to a client, when they say no, that means I don't have enough information to say yes. I need to know more. So you need to have more information. The action precedes the feeling. One of the things about sales is you got to actually get out there and do it, whether that means reaching over and picking up the phone, getting on the computer, or walking to somebody's door. That was the method when I was out and about, and that's a lot harder to do now than just picking up a phone. But the point is, sometimes you didn't feel like getting out of your car and walking to a door and knocking on a door. But once you get out and you start walking and you get yourself in motion, then the feeling will come to you. So the action precedes the feeling. Never assume. Oh, one of the things when we would go to the door, knock on the door, and question people would say is they would ask, is this insurance? Are you selling insurance? And then that would be something where the person that was trying to make the sale would say, well, and they think that that's negative. Don't do that. Don't assume, because sometimes you're going to knock on a door and they're going to say, is this insurance? And they're going to say, yeah, I want insurance. Okay, well, great, come on in. But if you assume that they don't want, you don't ever assume. So how do you turn that around? Very simply. They say, is this insurance? And then you say, are you looking for insurance? If they say no, you say, great, you're going to love what I have to show you. And if they say, yes, I'm looking for insurance, you say, great, you're going to love what I have to show you. All right? Be ready with lines like that. You know what the client's going to ask. If you've done it enough times, be prepared. Know what you're selling. Okay, sometimes you're selling the product. When you're in front of the client, when you're in front of the decision maker, that's great. But when you're in front of somebody in a department, you're not selling them the product because they're not making the decision. What you're selling is the appointment. Sell the appointment. When I would get on the phone and talk to people that were referrals, they'd say, well, can you tell me a little bit more about this on the phone? I say, gee, I'd really like to. All right, but I have to go right this minute. I'll see you next Tuesday between 7 and 8, and having made the appointment. The point is, you only sell in person, and know what you're selling. If when I'm on the phone, I'm selling the appointment. I'm not selling the product, I'm selling the appointment. All right? The person in control is the one that's asking the questions. Once again, let's go back to that question. You knock on the door, the person says, is this insurance? They're in control. Change it around. Are you looking for insurance? Now you've become the one that's back in control. When you're in sales and you're in somebody's home or you're with a client, don't use the word sale. People don't like to be sold. They like to buy. They don't like to, you walk into a store, somebody rushes up to you, can I help you? What do you always say? Just looking, just looking. All right? People don't like to be sold. Don't use the word sale. So what do you say instead? Well, these clients are they're happily involved with our product. Get used to saying the words happily involved. And most importantly, in sales, remember this. A smile is the shortest distance between two people. If you can tell a joke, if you can make somebody laugh, if you can get them to smile at you and you smile back, that's a bonding experience. By the way, that also works with dating and in life, Eli. All right, so keep that in mind. I'm going to give you a few basketball ones. Once again, there's a phrase that pays in whatever endeavor you're pursuing. All right, in basketball, offense is a reaction to defense. Somebody says run the play. Well, you can't run the play unless you know what the defense is going to do. If the guy stands in front is trying to block the pass, then the guy receiving the pass has to move. All right, offense is a reaction to defense. Find a man. When the ball goes up at the basket, you as a defender have to turn around and find somebody to block out. Otherwise, they can get the rebound and start all over again. You have to find a man, put your butt in their chest area, and block them out. Man ball. Keep man ball contact. All right? It's a team game. If somebody else's guy scores, it still counts against your team. So you have to be looking at your man and the ball. So frequently, if your man's over there and the ball's over there, you're looking kind of like this. One eye here, one eye there. You have to be in position to step in and play defense. Be quick, but don't hurry. One of the things that especially young kids do is they get the ball and they're trying to go a mile a minute. You know what? What you want to do is you want to get things moving, and then when the time is right, you explode. So you want to be quick, but you don't want to hurry. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. That's why we're running sprints. That's why we're running laps. We're getting you in shape, because at the end of the game, if the other team is tired, then you can run all over them. They can't keep up with you. Fatigue makes cowards of us all. That was famously said by Vince Lombardi regarding football. Make him do what he doesn't want to do. All right, the other team has a good scorer. The guy's right-handed. He wants to go to his right. Make him go to his left. Make him use his weak hand. Make him do what he doesn't want to do. Talk. Basketball's a team game. You have to let people on your team know, there's a screen coming, there's a screen coming. Or I'm on the right, I'm on the right, I'm on the right. You've got to talk. You've got to let people know where you are. You've got to act as a team. You've got to act in concert. Know where you are in relation to the basket. How many times, especially younger kids, and you even see it in the pros, they get stuck underneath the basket among the trees. You got to know where you are, all right? Because if you don't, you're going to take the ball and you're going to hit the backside of the basket. Always know where you are. And that also works for defense. When you're cutting through the lane, stop in the middle and make sure that there's no action happening right there in the lane, because that's where the most baskets are scored. Play the angles. You know, a lot of times people try and make a pass, they try and make a pass like, you know, straight over. That's so easy to intercept, to block, to tip, so on and so forth. You've got to make sure that you have the proper angle. Angles are key. Also, when you're defending, use the sideline, get to the angle, block your man off, play the angles. It's a rhythm game. One of the things that coaches always do is when they're having practice, excuse me, is they pass the ball around and they say, okay, you can't go for the basket until we've gone around 3 times. Why? Because it establishes a rhythm. Basketball is a rhythm game, getting the ball right where you want it, right at the time that you want it. All right, on time, on target, as they like to call it. Basketball is a game of rhythm. So let's run the play a couple of times, get everybody in rhythm, and then we're going to be more well suited to put the ball in the hole. And repetition means retention. You do something over and over and over and over again, then it becomes muscle memory, and then you can do it without thinking, which is the ideal scenario in anything that you're doing, because you've done it enough times, you do it perfectly, and then you can focus on the circumstances around you. All right, so I've given you 2 things that I'm somewhat knowledgeable in: sales and basketball, and I've given you the phrase that pays. Why don't you sit down and write down some phrases that pay in whatever pursuit you are looking to achieve? Figure out the phrase that pays. And because we're never going to end a meeting on a philosophical note, let's get out there. Here's a phrase that pays. Get out there and take charge. I'm Eli's dad.